Yo, guys, another day, another thought. Welcome all to another edition of the Double Thought Show, where we discuss different themes and topics, touching on them from various perspectives, always trying to do that in a way that is as objective as possible. You know who I am by now, because you guys are all loyal followers. I'm RJ here with my co-host KR. KR,
Yes.
we had a show last week, or I mean yesterday. So usually we start our Saturday show saying another wild week.
It wasn't a wild night this time.
It was a very wild
Very
night.
wild night. We're
Yeah,
gonna
definitely. It was
chop it
a,
up real quick about what happened last night on Twitter.
yeah,
And
man.
yeah, let's see what will happen. Let's see. We yeah.
Yeah, man. Guys, we want to thank everyone that's tuning in right now. Thank you all for watching our live show, and of course, for those watching the rebroadcast as well. Thank you all for your support. Remember as well to check us out on our social media pages. We have, of course, our Facebook and Instagram pages where we drop the topics. So we drop the graphics daily of clips that we will show on YouTube on that day, as well as other random but interesting story. Yeah, it's called stories, right? On Instagram, Instagram
Stories,
stories
yes, stories and reels.
and reels. Reels is the word I was looking for. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Hey guys, you see the title of the show? Um, we're going to talk today about Kanye West and decoding the future of America. But as KR said, before we get to that, we have some hot, fresh out the oven news that we want to discuss. KR, you want to take over?
Yes, give me a second. Before we continue, I want to just say, as Audrey already said, we were going to decode the Kanye and the decode Kanye, hip hop, and basically the future of America. We were going to do this with Coree Moses. Just received the email from him that he might not be feeling that well, so we have to
Okay,
see. Ask him whether he can join later on. If he cannot, then we continue the show on a different trajectory, and we will join. He will join us another time.
another time. Yeah, yeah. And of course, we want to wish Corey all the best.
Yes, yes,
Definitely, guys. If he cannot make it today, we really suggest you to just keep tuning in to see when the show will go through, because as I've already said yesterday, we've had a talk with Corey. KR knows him longer than I do, but
yeah,
he's a very interesting guy. And from the short time I talked to him, I can tell you that he definitely has some gems to drop. So thanks for that, for sharing that news, KR. We want to wish Corey, of course, all the best.
yeah.
Best of luck. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the news. Yesterday night, I was on Twitter. I'll be honest, I was a bit dizzy. As Kanye said, don't tweet while don't tweet while being while
Sleepy.
being sleepy. So I was only checking out Twitter. I was only checking. I wasn't tweeting, but let's say I saw this. I firstly saw this one. I saw him, Elon, or the great Chief Twit. They were doing some code reviewing with the team there at Twitter. A lot of excited people.
You seem very excited, people.
Hey man, these are going to be the next PayPal mafia. You know that, right? You know the PayPal mafia.
No, I don't know So yeah,
That's
no, I don't know. Tell me.
basically PayPal mafia is. I can show you real quick. PayPal is basically every all the guys who were part of the PayPal group became pretty
Successful on their
successful in
own.
the tech industry.
Yeah, I figured
Money.
that was what you were referring to. But
Yeah, let me show you real quick. I can maybe open this up. So these are the guys who were part of PayPal Mafia. Dave McClure, who did 500 startups. You got basically all these guys who are linked to all these companies. You might have heard of them, Tesla. If you might have, if you not have heard of it, you might have been sleeping under a rock.
yeah.
We have Solar City, SpaceX,
Pinterest,
Pinterest. So you
Uber,
can see Uber,
yeah,
YouTube. They are
Airbnb,
all linked to
Udemy,
so many companies. So maybe
Core.
they're
Wow.
thinking, yeah, I mean, that's why they call PayPal Mafia.
Noah Keegan was on Facebook, right?
Noah Kiko is part of Facebook. Yeah, yeah,
Facebook, yeah.
early group.
Early group, yeah.
So maybe they're thinking we're the new Twitter mafia.
Twitter mafia.
New time.
Or
But yeah.
perhaps they're happy because all their competitors resigned.
Hey man. Hey man. It's always there's always a opportunity where there is crisis, which we discussed about yesterday. Where there
Yeah,
is crisis, there is
there's
always
opportunity,
opportunity.
definitely.
So not long after Elon posted a poll asking whether Twitter has to reinstate Trump. 50 million people voted. And according to him, 134 saw the poll. So it's a big number.
Again, 50 million voted.
15.
15 million. Oh, there it is.
Let me,
Yeah.
let me zoom in.
And how many people
My
saw the
bad, my
poll
bad.
according to him?
134.
Oh, that's real quick. That's below. It's like 8% or something of people who voted.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. So about 51, almost 52% of the people voted yes.
It's a very close. It's a very close
Very
call. Man.
close. It's a very close call, but as you know, I think it was during the last. I mean, when you're voting for president, it can be close as well. But the winner wins it all.
That's true. But I think, and we can say safely as well, if it was the other way around, Trump would sue Twitter and demand to check the ballots.
hey man. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, yeah. So basically, just a little over 7 million people, 7.5 million people voted pro-Trump. I don't know if this is the poll for his next for his next presidency, but this is so basically what I'm trying to say is that after that, Elon made the choice where he was talking all this time about voice, giving people say into Twitter, and he followed it by Vox Populi, Vox Dei, which is basically the people have spoken, I think, something like that in Latin. People have spoken the voice of God or something.
The voice of the people is the voice of God.
Oh, it's voice of God. Yeah. My Latin. I need to brush my Latin up a little bit.
Is he referring to himself?
Oh, that's a good question. You mentioned yesterday that the was it during your random thought when you mentioned him?
Yeah, I mentioned him during my random thought of the day.
Yeah. So let's see, man. So basically, he continued, and he mentioned the people have spoken. Trump will be reinstated. Look at this. Yeah, because the World Cup is always very. It's always very. There's a lot of tweets during the World Cup. Usually, people trolling other teams. Well, with the whole World Cup, I'm not saying debacle already because it's too early, but the World Cup that is being held in Qatar, the soccer or the football World Cup that's being held in Qatar, is very starting rather iffy already.
Yeah, I read somewhere that yesterday they deported the first visitor because
Really?
he was urinating in public.
Oh my God. This is going to be probably the worst. I'm not, no, maybe not, but it's not going to be the most popular World Cup ever, because already it started off with the. We're gonna deviate a little bit, talk about World Cup, but then we're gonna come back to Twitter, of course. But it started basically with the group, well, not the group, Qatar, banning beer drinking around the the stadiums, which is quite remarkable because Budweiser
Yeah,
has a contract with FIFA.
FIFA. Yeah, yeah.
I think it's a $30 million contract, something like that. Imagine. And do you know what FIFA said about this?
What did they say?
They said that they grew together. They grew much towards each other, FIFA and Budweiser.
Okay, okay, okay.
This has strengthened their partnership.
Their
I don't know
bonds.
towards what.
Yeah.
You cannot sell any. You cannot sell Budweiser, but it's strengthening your partnership.
Yeah.
I guess it did. Anyway, so
But before that, there were other things. So
of course,
because every time leading up to, so every time when you're leading up to a World Cup, you have like the country that will host will try to do as much as possible to make the location ready and to develop all the necessary infrastructures, right?
yeah,
For the World Cup. And then it's oftentimes you can hear that so in the preparation phase there are a lot of abuse of, let's say, human rights law, infringements of human rights laws, people dying, all sorts of, let's say, the skeletons in the closets all get revealed. Yeah. But it's all part of the whole process, because everyone knows that 4 years later there will be another World Cup and nothing's gonna change.
Nothing's gonna change. Well, this already during the early phase of selection of the World Cup location, there were sayings of fraud or people greasing some hands, some palms.
So that's always the case. They always claim that
this was extremely, even to the point right now. It was rumored that Qatar tried to pay off some Ecuadorian players for today's game.
Well, let's see. Right?
This is wild.
Well, we all know that if Qatar wins, there has been referees check the palms.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
But let's go back to Twitter real quick, and then we're going to the next section. Let me share my screen, of course. Yes. So basically, Donald was reinstated. And he's back without a official check. So he has to pay that $8. Hey, he's consequent. He's not consistent. I mean,
is it 8 or 20?
It's 8. I think it's $8 for the batch. $8 a month. I think.
I thought it was.
Maybe I'm wrong. But Donald is back, and
you can expect a tweet. It's midnight.
He hasn't tweeted anything yet, but I guess.
Yeah, but it's not 2 o'clock in the morning yet.
Okay, that is.
That's when he tweets.
That's when he wakes up. That's when he wakes up.
That's when he wakes up and tweets.
Okay, guys, we let me go Oh, wait a second. Did I open this? What's this? Yeah. So as we said earlier, I got an email from Corey mentioning that he he didn't feel pretty well, and we weren't expecting him, but guys, he's here. Welcome, welcome, Corey.
Hey, yeah, so I have not been feeling
What?
great, but I do
Yeah.
think it's going to kind of play to, it's going to be good, just because sometimes I get a little too animated when we talk about these things. So this is kind of keep me a little bit mellow. I feel good enough to do it. Just I apologize for being a little late here.
No problem, no problem.
No
Thank
worries,
you for
man.
joining. Thank
Yeah,
you
We
for
really
joining.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Good to be here, and I'm excited about covering some of these topics and just kind of helping and being a guest on you guys' show. So this is cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, yes. So let's continue with the show. Are you going to do the disclaimer, RJ? As
Yeah.
usual.
Let's do the disclaimer. Should have done it before you started talking, man.
Oh, you're right. You're right. But I guess we didn't give any advice yet, right?
No,
Nothing
no,
about
no, no.
Trump. Only said that he joined.
And you
Oh,
said,
yeah.
I think you said to vote for him or something, or no, that's just a joke. Before we proceed, we want to add the usual disclaimer, guys. We're not financial or life advisors or any kind of advisor with regard to this show. The purpose of the show is purely for entertainment, at least to provide entertainment to you guys and to share our thoughts and opinions. And of course, to hear your thoughts and opinions. For personal advice or guidance, we urge you to seek advice from a professional that can provide you with adequate advice in the areas in which you need assistance and advice.
Thank you, RJ. Let's continue with the introduction. So let's start with my part of the story. I think a couple of years back, somewhere in 2016, I was basically strolling to Periscope, and I came across a guy who was talking. I think he was talking about a lot of things, Trump, Kanye, and it's very interesting because he was very passionate, and that was Corey. And we stayed in touch all those years. Periscope went down somewhere, I think, in 2018, 19, something like that.
That's all right.
We continue following each other on YouTube and Instagram, and some way somehow we thought it would be a great moment to maybe connect, collab, and talk about interesting stuff like Kanye, hip hop, and America. So, Corey, please introduce yourself to the viewers.
Yeah, I'm a thinker. I'm a passionate thinker. A lot of my background, I think, is still I'm painting the picture in terms of why I do what I do and how I do what I do. And I think that's what we come to realize. We are all on this journey that we're learning and evolving and expressing ourselves. And we're at a point in technology and in our lives where we're able to collaborate with more people and kind of connect with different types of people from across the world. So, and I'm using this as kind of like an introduction to myself because a lot of, Kanye is one person who doesn't like labels. So I don't really like labels. You're going to get to know me over the next, hour if you don't know me already. But a lot of my views and opinions have been from my experience. And so I feel like that is going to speak more than me just giving you a 2-minute, excerpt of who I am, because that part you're not going to really understand who I am, but you'll understand a little bit about who I am as I start to express myself, the energy that I come across, the things that I say, the pictures that I paint with the words and things like that. So that would be my introduction to myself. And like I said, over the next little bit, I think you'll start to understand me more or not, right? You may say, hey, I don't get this guy, and that's cool too. But as an introduction to decoding Kanye and certain things that I think we're going to get into, I don't like labels. It's something that I think is boxed people in, and if you put this label on, I'm this, then if something new comes about, you don't think that you can express it because you've limited yourself to just being this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point, and that's like the paradox, right? Of existence. Because I remember my background is in law, and I studied international law. And I recall we talked. So in one of the lessons, it was about European law. We talked about the United States, the European Union, the African Union, and there are always countries then that want to form part of, let's say, the union, and others that don't. And it's like a paradox, because you can only know, so you need, to a certain extent, you need a label, or you need labels to say what you are, and by saying that, you say what you're not. For example, you said you're a thinker. I would add the word free to that, because I believe you're a free thinker. But by saying you're a thinker, it automatically says that you do not associate with people who do not think, or at least for themselves. And that's like the paradox, but I understand completely what you said. And I believe as humans, sometimes society you get it a lot at networking events. People want to know what you do. Like, what do you do? What added value can you provide me? But they never ask you who you are.
Right.
And it's like when you talk to the person, when you connect with a person without necessarily trying to put that person in a box, you remain open to accept the person for who he is and actually listen,
And that I think you'll get more value out of. So when I put that box on you and I say, what do you do? That's a very small part of who you are. And I'm only going to be able to tap into that part. But if I start to understand a little bit more about who you are, there's so much more depth to that world that I can, and for selfish reasons, I can use, not abuse, but I can use, or for reasons where I want to help you become more of who you are. So a lot of it, as we network and, kind of engage with one another, it's like when it comes to networking and you want to know about someone, like what they do, it's because you want to see how they can help you or how you can help them, which is a good thing, right? It's noble in that own pursuit, but you can't just limit it in that one facet of what do you do and how can I help what you do? It's who are you and how are our views aligned or misaligned or whatever, but there's so much more there. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think Curtis Kuhn, you guys might have heard of him before, but he once said, someone asked him when he was at the event, what do you do? And he said, I do whatever I want to do.
Great answer. I think we're all in the pursuit of that. If we don't have that already, we are all in pursuit to do exactly what we want to do. Yeah.
Well, that's a great introduction. Thank you, Corey. We have here a tradition at Double Thought Show that we always have the random thought of the day. And since this is the first collab, want to ask you if you have a random thought of the day you might want to share with us.
Yeah. So, KaiR, where are you from?
I'm from the Netherlands.
RJ, now. Where are you from?
I'm from Curacao.
Well, technically, I'm also from Curacao, but I live in the Netherlands.
Well, you can answer that however you want.
I live in the Caribbean.
Cool. What is bringing us together is language, right? We can all communicate. We're from different areas, but language gives us the ability to express ideas and to paint pictures with our words. And so my random thought is really just what we're getting ready to do. And it's a couple facets, and I'm kind of touch on some of the topics as to why this is my random thought. when it comes to like hip hop and Kanye and politics and America and just the world, I think this is the era of the conscious creative where they're able to use the words to paint a picture in the mind's eye of the listener that from there you're able to say, I like what this person is saying and drawing, or I don't like it, and there's a disconnect there. And I think as more people, I said this is the era of the conscious creative, I think as more people wake up to what hip hop, the picture that it's painting and what it's doing to the real world, they'll draw back. And even though there's so much energy and there's so much good, like it's contagious. There's things that like you just listen to it, but you don't really know what you're listening to. I think those creatives, those artists are going to have to realize that people are kind of waking up and they're realizing this isn't healthy. And I think things like this, where intellectuals are coming together and having dialogue, I think is creating a new picture. And you are an artist. We are all artists using our words to paint that picture. So my random thought is just being mindful of that, and mindful of how that helps us connect, and then understanding that that's truly how when we don't connect. Like when it comes to politics, you'll listen to someone give a speech and it's like what you just painted, there's no connection to my real world and the things that I desire for the future of X, Y, or Z. And so like I feel like that's my random thought as far as what we're getting ready to do, because we're getting ready to paint a picture, and it's just being mindful of the picture that we are painting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did that fit the description of the random thought of the day?
There is no description.
We don't use labels. We don't use labels.
Okay, I love it.
So that's a good. That's why I said
Yeah.
it's a good random thought. I mean, it's painting the picture. I think that's something. I never see myself as an artist, but maybe I am. Maybe we are.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Corey.
No, you go.
I was gonna say KR's ego doesn't need to be fed anymore. It's it's good like that.
If he created the background for this, then you're absolute artist for sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
And the other thing is we wouldn't be able to put this together without being artists. So like you gotta, I don't even know if it's giving yourself credit, but just understanding what you're doing and what you're creating. Like you are an artist. Like it is what it is.
Yeah. And it's what you said. I mean, artists create, and oftentimes we think of artists as, the traditional artist, but you also have poetry, that's also an art. And when you talk, you create, as you said, and you can create, you can trigger, you can trigger emotions, you can do a lot of things. And that's why when you're purposeful when you speak, you can basically influence the world through your creation.
100%.
Okay. Guys, before we continue, please like the video so the algorithm picks us up. I think we're getting a lot of traction, a lot of views these days. Just also don't forget to subscribe when you're watching this. I think that's a part that needs a little bit of growing, RJ. But
the subscriptions,
yeah, subscriptions. The views are going okay.
Yeah.
I cannot complain about the views, but anyway.
Yeah, well, we got a good tip, a golden tip from Coree during the last talk, and we implemented it immediately. So you will see in the coming videos, guys, you will see an extra touch. Let us know when you notice what we did additionally this week.
Yes. Thank you for that. Great, guys. Let's start with the theme of today, which is decoding Kanye, hip hop, and the future of America.
KR, perhaps just one more thing. Coree, because it's also good to mention that Coree has his own channel as well. So we will put the channel in the description box, And
Yes.
maybe Corey, I don't know if you want to say something about your channel, or you want to do it later. It's also
No,
possible.
so I'll just kind of introduce my channel and kind of my thought process behind it. In terms of, the way that I introduce myself as a thinker and, elaborate being a free thinker, which I would definitely say, when you do have like thoughts that you don't 100% see prevalent in mainstream media, which I'm sure there's a lot of people, right? It just mainstream media isn't representing the majority of people. It's a very narrow-minded view of the world, and so that's why I think shows people like this is taking place. YouTube's been up for I don't know how many years, at least a decade, but there's definitely more and more people creating channels. It's just because we have things we want to express to the world, and that is our medium. And so I say that because I don't have as organized of a show as this, but there are times where I just feel as though I need to express myself, and that is the easiest way to do it. And I think the more people are able to either find the people that resonates with them or do it themselves, I think we're really going to see a completely different world where everybody's voice matters. And I'm excited about it, but I say that because my channel is still in its infancy in terms of what I want to do with it, and also just the structure and things like that. So, this I think is awesome. Like I said, I'm excited and I appreciate you guys reaching out to me to do this. But my channel is very much like, I got to get this off my chest, and whoever, whatever ears it falls on, let's just see how this thing grows. And it has been growing in a manner that I think the best is yet to come. That's kind of like my saying, but I also let God just take the reign. I just do what I do and kind of just continue to grow as a person rather than saying, this is what this channel is about, which is all like the label thing that I'm big on.
Yeah. Okay, clear.
Okay. I think I'm going back. So today we will be talking about decoding Kanye, hip hop, and America's future, of the future of America. We will do this by going through, on the right side, the Jenga blocks. As you can see here, every time we go through a topic, we will change the highlight. That's how you call it, the background of the topic. And then at the end, we will take a conclusion, discussing all of them together. We have a time clock, so we don't deviate. I mean, we don't want to talk 6 hours long. There's got other things to do as well, so we will keep track of the timing. So that way we can basically have a short but yet productive stream. Okay, let's start with Kanye. I think we can start talking about Kanye. We all know right now Kanye's current situation relating to the things he might have said and also the consequences, him breaking up, or Adidas breaking with him after what he said, Gap breaking with him, and him taking basically a kind of short time of leave. So that's how you can say that, because I haven't heard of him in a while, the last 2 weeks. Guys, how do you think? Huh?
Oh no, continue.
How did he found himself in this situation, and maybe how can he basically get back to maybe get to a better situation after this, or improve basically from where he is at now?
So my my first take on this is, I do believe that this was calculated on his part in a positive way. So when you say how can he get to a better situation, and then you said or improve, I definitely think he can improve on this. But I don't think when you word it as how can he get to a better situation as if he's in a tough situation, distancing himself from Adidas, Gap. I don't know why Balenciaga came to mind, but he just, whether he just says it or he actually has a deal with them.
He had a deal.
He's in line with these brands and with the heads of the brands. I think that limited his ability to create and to think and speak freely, which is what he just did. He just spoke very freely, he spoke too freely for their liking, and so they had to disconnect from him. I think that created a freer Ye, and which is what his whole goal is. His whole goal is to be free. There's a lot of people like that, but when he believes in himself so much so to where he can say, hey, Balenciaga, come do a deal with me. I'm your guy. I can create at that level, right? Or Louis Vuitton or what have you. I mean, these are the tops of the top. He does that because he believes he has ideas that can change the world. So already there's an inherent value that he brings to the table because of his belief. Now, if he didn't have the ideas or if he didn't have the creativity to back it, we wouldn't see the stuff fly off the shelves the way that they do. So clearly there's something there. But what ends up happening, and this is Hollywood, but this is art. You take a person like that who is creative, but you say, hey, you can't do this, or this. You can't say this. You can't vote for this. You can't dress like this. And then the person is just like, well, then what's the point of me being successful, or what's the point of me trying to be more creative if the more success and more creative I get, the more you say, well, you can't say this because we're going to drop this deal. So it's binding. And that's why I think when you get into money being definitely a good driver in terms of like, not even a good driver, money being a good metric. Like I understand why we use money as a metric to say, okay, you're value add, but it's also binding in that, well, now you can't do this because you're going to lose this money. And it's just like, well, I'm a human being. You can't tell me what to do. And what I think the Kanye situation is, if the Gap, I don't know why, I don't know what they had going on before him and how their situation.
Nothing.
So
they had nothing. Their stock has been plummeting ever since the 90s.
I know. I didn't purchase anything from the Gap beforehand, not only did I not purchase, I just looked at it in a certain way. And then ever since Ye came about, it's just like, well, the Gap, again, and it's an inherent value that I think most people think of. It's like, oh, well, the Gap is pretty legit. Not legit. The Gap is something to talk about.
Yeah.
Before it was just like sweaters during holidays that I think from the commercials, they would probably sell like 2 for $20. It was like ridiculous, very low end, like cheesy type marketing that may work on a certain type of consumer, but it wasn't like the forward thinking, like the actual having an impact on streetwear where other companies are kind of like piggybacking on what Gap is doing, which you see very much so in a lot of, not only Gap, but Adidas. Like there's a bunch of shoes that look like Ye shoes, but they're not Ye shoes. And they look like Adidas, but they're not Adidas. It's because now Adidas is like that brand that you look at. What are they doing because of Ye? And it's not just Ye. My thing, and this is something that I think most people need to understand when it comes to Ye and Trump. And I know that these are two very different figures, but they're types of people who Ye is nothing without the other creatives that actually make it. So he is one who has these ideas. He speaks it. I mean, I'm not saying he's nothing, but he has a vision, but there are people that can take that vision and then make it actually into something, right? Because he doesn't have the factories. He doesn't, I mean, I'm sure he can draw to a certain degree, but I think his whole thing was he doesn't understand Photoshop or don't like all of these the technical side of creating a sneaker. So it's the team, it's the way that he inspires them. If you ever like listen to a lot of the people that end up working with Ye, it's like they have nothing but good things to say. Like, hey, this guy really wants perfection. It's like nothing else.
In a sense, he's like Andy Warhol, basically.
100%.
You know? Andy was always the creative mind, and he brought the actual people with the skills to create what he had in mind, and that's how he created basically all his art, basically. So,
and I
it's
don't
like the
think
modern day. Is he modern day Andy Warhol? And there's nothing wrong with that, because what he did back then is what almost all big artists or art creators do these days. They have basically a factory. Well, I'm not saying it sounds kind of I'm limiting, but it's basically a factory with creators in it.
Yeah.
He gives them his view, his vision, and then they create it, and then he puts it out.
Yeah,
maybe
100%. And I think it's like there's a bunch of ideas that surface, and then he has the eye of, okay, that's the one, right?
That's the one.
Like, and so, but everyone's inspired. Everyone's kind of competing for their design to be the one, and it's like they're all on the same team. So even if your design isn't the one for like, because I think this is a quote from him, the one. It's not about it being right. It's about it being right now. So like there's, okay, this is here. Because everything is like you got to like go one step over and one step over and one step to build on something. And so like, and it's crazy because if you think about, in visually thinking, and this is just my opinion, but the Red October shoes, I think that was probably one of the best design shoes that Ye put out. And it was the first one. And because of how well that did, and it may be the call, I don't know what it is, but I know that like, I mean, I have a good amount of Ye shoes, and I can emphatically say if you put your foot in one of these shoes, it doesn't feel like a regular shoe.
okay.
Yeah,
so visually.
The Red Octobers.
And I think his whole thing was they reselled for like $10,000, and it was just a ridiculous thing that like people, it was hard to even wrap your head around what that did to footwear, streetwear, the whole footwear industry, of the fact that a shoe, I don't know if it's a basketball shoe or it's not, you know, a Gucci, like whatever shoe, it's a sneaker, can go for $10,000. It says something about the way that it connects to people. There's something in it. You can't explain it. And so I think from there, I mean, my thing is I'm only looking at the evolution of his products. I think he said, okay, I can do the easy, something that like, oh, that looks good, but that looks like something that has already come out, right? Like there's a shoe that looks like it pops a little bit more. Now a lot of his shoes look like you never seen a shoe like it, like, and people will make fun of it, but it's something that is very different. And it's like, where did this idea even come from? I think he wants to get rid of laces. He wants to, like that's something that no one has ever seen. So from there, your mind has to rethink shoes and then the versatility of it. I'm sure you can go into water with that. Like, why do we even wear these things? And I'm not saying that like I automatically think like this amount of depth when I'm looking at a shoe, but I just know when it comes to design and what Ye wants to do with his brand as like in 20 years, what he wants the Ye brand to be, I think it's more than just putting out a sneaker that people buy. He wants to reshape society and the way that we look at each other, fashion, product in general, like, and you have to we have to reprogram our minds to accept new ideas, right? And that's what I think a lot of his shoes symbolize, new ideas.
I think you're. Ooh.
I had a question because Corey, you said that you think that Kanye definitely will, let's say, be able to come back. When I hear what you say, you're saying that he's the creative. So he's a creative. He basically downloads the ideas, let's say, from the universe, but he's not the one he's not the best person to actually manifest them, let's say, physically. So he needs a team. So
he's not the best. He's not the only person. He can't do it by himself. Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying, so the question then becomes who is easier replaceable? Is Kanye easier replaceable for the companies that ditched him? Or are the companies easier replaceable for Kanye? And from what I hear, you say, I think, or I want to ask, is it fair to conclude that Kanye will be able to move on? So the chances of Kanye, let's say he's successful already. So for Kanye to get back where he was, or perhaps higher, is higher. So the chances are higher for Kanye than it is for the other companies to find another Kanye with the brain, with the inspiration to basically boost their sales.
So I know exactly how I want to answer this, but it's just a matter of like, because I feel as though I do, and it's like a weird thing where I understood Ye's vision. I don't know if we have to say Ye or Kanye because he did change.
I don't know either.
If he ever watches this, it's just with all due respect if we go back and forth. But like, I understood, and this is a weird thing. I understood his vision before he even like got to this point. I do believe it's to bring things back to America. So the 450s that I just got, when you open up the box,
I saw it.
The first
made in Germany.
Yes, the first sticker says made in Germany.
IG. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there's anything inherently wrong with that, but I know that if it was made in America, there's another level of connection to, because most people who purchase it are here in America. So there's another, and that's like, this is like marketing 101, right? Like if there's a community where you have a ton of jobs, like you feel connected to it. You can see it. You can go into the building. You can, there's a very strong visceral, like this is our brand, right?
Yeah.
So I do believe that he has since, I don't know when, since he did the song with Jay in Paris.
Yeah.
Since then, he's been going around to understand, okay, how do these factories work around the world? Yeah. Because if you go into different cities in America, there are factories here, but they're all shut down. And it's like a crazy thing where when I went through my like period of like, something isn't right. It's like, where did all these jobs go? And this is where we got to go into. We outsourced everything. Things shut down. A part of it was because technology just kind of like made it a little bit easier to make certain things or to navigate like business. So I get an element of it, but there is still that value of this being homegrown. And I say that when it comes to like food, when it comes to anything, if it's homegrown, there's a connection to it that you can't even put a price tag on it. So but you can actually, because it's a little bit more expensive, right? So when you say, so like I do believe, so Adidas will continue to be Adidas, but we'll know it, you know, it's a German company, you know, the three stripes, it goes back to being what it was. And I'm not saying that it becomes obsolete and like they don't exist anymore, but they can't really compete with a company like Ye if he's able to bring it home, has the same ideas, has the same creatives, has certain communities in America working for him and actually feeding their family because of it. It's like, how can you hate on this?
Yeah.
But I think right now he still has to shake hands with certain prominent people that he can't say certain things. And like when he doesn't have to shake hands with those people, he won't come off as crazy because it's like he's not doing business with people that he doesn't think is doing good business. And so that's where I feel like he's coming off as crazy, because he's doing business with people who aren't doing good business. So it's like, I don't care whether they practice a certain religion or whatever, you're going to have a negative feeling towards it because this isn't good business.
So you think that the ethical part is important for Kanye? So the ethical part of business.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's important now that he understands the value that he's losing by overlooking it. So someone can give you $1 million to just like to shut up, right? But if your ideas are worth much more than $1 million, you're going to say, well, why would I shut up for $1 million? And so if you attack that ethical side of it and you're able to speak and do as you freely want, you'll really understand your value. And if it's worth more than $1 million, then, or 4 billion or whatever he lost in that $2 billion, I believe he thinks it's worth more than that. Therefore, or else he wouldn't have said what he said, right? Because he understands what he jeopardized, but he believes that his creativity is worth more.
Okay.
I think you're right about on that. First of all, there are two things I wanted to say. Based on the question Anji already asked you, I think it's been documented that brands have tried to add people who are in his team or were in his team before, guys like Virgil.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of names, and I don't know them by heart, but there are a couple of guys that were working beneath or within his team. I'm not gonna say beneath him because it sounds kind of negative, but they were working with him, and they basically removed them from his team and tried to get that, let's call it, sauce. And yeah, Virgil did a good job, but some of them, the other guys, they're not. That sauce ain't there. They're trying to get that Kanye sauce, and it's not there. And I think that you can already see that that sauce that that he brought to Adidas. I think Adidas changed their projections of the revenue they will get this year by the end of the year by, I think it was either 5 or 10%. I was like, whoa! It's it's clearly. It's very obvious that the impact he had on that brand, and probably it like you said, I think it might be that they will go back to being the old Adidas. They will have the designs, because I think they mentioned that they're gonna keep putting out the designs, but with their logo on it and not the Yeezy ones. But hey, everyone will know that Yeezy is not affiliated. You can buy it for that price, but you know what? That's not Kanye, though.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
And the second thing I wanted to say regarding the vision, and we can basically transition also to the vision. Kanye talked in his interview with Lex Fridman about basically his vision to go towards becoming his designs becoming basically standardized or part of community of life in general, just like a traffic light. You don't think about who designed it. That's his goal. That's his vision. Do you think, based on this, uh, whether he can, well, when he can reach this? And what? Let me ask this differently. What product do you think is the first thing that he can probably
Launch.
reach this, launch this with, or he can basically become that standardized version of the product that we use on a daily basis? And we don't even think that it's Kanye.
Right.
who
So
designed it.
that, and I've heard him say that, or I understand that to be the big picture, but I think in order to get there, he is going to have to get to a certain level of respect. Like right now, everyone's calling him crazy, right?
Yeah,
Which,
yeah.
well, not everyone's calling. The debate is Kanye
media.
crazy?
Media, yeah.
Yeah. Which, let me just attack that really quick, because it's like
You can hear.
a crazy, like, I think we all have seen a crazy person. And I think it's like ridiculous that we're even putting Kanye in the same vein as a crazy person, like, is, to me, whether they're shot because of drugs or the screws are super loose where they're not even articulating themselves correctly. Like, I know I've seen a crazy person before, right? Like, if you've ever gone into like poverty stricken areas, there's a crazy person on the corner. Kanye West is far from crazy. Now, he may speak over people's head, but he's not crazy. So so I think we need to like reshape the way that we're even like asking where his level of intellect and creativity actually lies. But just to say, is Kanye crazy? Like, he's the guy is not, like I said, the metric of money. He's not only worth a couple $1 billion, or was, or can be, whatever. I mean, if you've listened to any of his albums from beginning to end, we talk about a picture that's being painted, like, and that's one thing with hip hop that is lost. You'll listen to an album and you honestly don't even know what picture they painted. You don't know what they've gone through. They're just a bunch of songs they put together and they made an album. Yay, when he creates an album, it's so like, okay, this is where I'm at. It's like there's so much into it. It's like, so okay, I just wanted to make sure, like, from my end, Ye's the furthest thing from crazy. I'm not 100% sure how we get to his products being something that is your everyday thing and then you don't even associate it with Ye. I honestly don't know. I do believe if he really wants to get there, he will. It's going to be something along the lines of like the way Google is to technology. It's like we search and we don't even know that like we're using Google, but like Google's behind it, or they're buying up the companies that have the technology, does it better. So like, I mean, he's got obviously the fashion thing is something that is near and dear to his heart. The STEM player, he's trying to break free from just having his music on platforms. He wants to make an actual product to get his music out. Where he goes next, I don't know, but I definitely think he's in pursuit of it. I don't think he's giving us everything that he's working on, because what he is giving us, we're like fighting over like how we can handle that. What comes to mind, I guess, to answer your question, is him building cities. Because you talked about, and I think that he is working on something that
he talked about that during the Lex Fridman show.
Yeah, so if you're building cities and there's plenty of land where you could just build a city, you wouldn't know everything in that city is a product of Ye.
Oh, I didn't think about that part. That's a good one. I didn't think about that.
So that's where it's like,
if you build a city, you never think about who's building it. Yeah,
everything in 10 years,
everything is you. So it makes sense, though.
It does.
Yeah.
I honestly, that was something that just came to mind. And it's also like, look, I think Ye, because I know that he's not so much like it has to be a Ye product. It's almost probably has to do with the way like Abu Dhabi set up their city, where it's like the government, which Ye wants to get into government, but like they have a portion of the business so that it grows. Everything that comes in, it grows with it, right? So it's like new ideas can come in. It doesn't have to be from him, but it just has to fit in line with the vision of like something that is, I think it's noble. I think it's a pursuit that is just like, I do think it's morally and ethically sound, right? I don't think it, if you, like I said, and I think we're going to get into it, listening to his music compared to like hip hop, I don't think he's the guy that is like looking for drama and beef and stuff like that. So I think that is how he separates himself from the others. I do think he's a genius, but I think it's like, I don't know. I just, to answer your question, I definitely think the cities is something that if he's able to put the blueprint for that on paper and on the map, I think from there, it's like, that's the win, right?
Okay, clear. Of course, you will need the people to build that city, and in order to do that, I think we will transition to the part of his circle. I want to share a short video of one of his former team members, Jason Lee, who was who gave basically
standing next to Ken.
Who gave an interview to DJ Vlad, and we'll look shortly how what he's talking about.
So he comes out to this fashion show with a White Lives Matter shirt.
Yes,
With him is Candace Owens,
correct.
wearing the same shirt. Lauryn Hill's daughter is also there wearing that same shirt. You went on Instagram. I don't know exactly the timing of this, but you said, I love Ye as a person. I support free speech, but this is gaslighting Black people and empowering white supremacy. Not sure if he has anything to tell him.
Yes.
I want to rewind it again, just because I didn't see the actual Instagram post, but just the way that he saw White Lives Matter, and he says it's gaslighting Black people. So it's not that he himself was, I guess he was triggered by it to say that other people were triggered by it. But most people, you'll find out that most people are talking about, oh, this is devices to somebody else. But it's like, how did it make you feel, right? So just run that back, because it makes it like disingenuous. It's like he's talking about something arbitrary where the actual White Lives Matter shirt didn't mean anything to him, but he thinks it's gaslighting Black people as if he's not Black, which I don't know if he is, but I'm just saying, if Kanye is Black and he's wearing this White Lives Matter shirt, and you're saying, this is a problem that I have with who's the white guy who does a lot of race baiting on the left.
You mean the actor?
No, he's not an actor. He's an activist, I guess. I think he's a white guy. He kind of comes across.
Oh, you mean
I know you know who I'm talking about.
Talcum X.
Huh?
Tucker Carlson?
No.
X. Wait a second.
He's
called him Talcum X.
All he does is like
Sean Kin.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So this is crazy. The fact I remembered his name as Talcum X.
Yeah, I didn't know what you were saying. What?
Yeah, they call him on Twitter. They called him Talcum X. So
that's
Sean
great.
King.
Right, but that concept is so like there's nothing behind it, right? So like you're just talking about something that is so foreign when a Black person is wearing a White Lives Matter shirt, and you who are not Black, or you're not associating yourself with Black people in the tweet because you're saying this is going to trigger Black, it doesn't connect. So I'm talking about language and how it connects. That doesn't connect with anyone. But just play that again, and because there's so many things. You talk about white supremacy, so he's using these trigger words to say to get people to emotionally say, yeah, he is. But then it's like, even black people are going to like, they're not going to feel as though that White Lives Matter really impacted them. They're going to think it impacted black people. But it's like, you're the person who like did it impact you until you read that? It's like a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I off in that?
So I get what you're saying. KaiR, I sent you a message a couple of days ago, where I forgot what the caption was, but it was, so I searched something, a phrase, something that it seemed to me that the media was pushing, a narrative that the media was pushing. And the funny thing is, I saw the first 3 results in Google were from 3
Oh
different,
yeah, that one.
from,
Yeah.
were from 3 different news articles. The titles of the articles were almost exactly the same. So it's like they push something from all sides of society, in all newspapers, in social media, and that's a legitimate question. The question is, did you feel insulted before someone told you that you should feel insulted about it? And I believe that a majority of times people read how they should feel and then feel that way.
I can't tell you how much that bothers me to my core, because that is that's the disconnect with reality and your experience. And so God is going to give you an experience, and you're going to just read something else and have that override your experience and your gut instincts. So that's 100% like in line with what we're fighting, because they're pushing this narrative that is like not genuine. It's not real. It doesn't help. It's not helpful. So if they were pushing a positive narrative, right, that's great. They're, the power of affirmations and things of that nature. Like, I'm all for that, to program yourself to believe in overcoming blah blah. But when it's the exact opposite, and it's telling you that white supremacy is blah blah, when you talk about Kanye West, Candace Owens, and Lauryn Hill's daughter, which, when you think about those 3 people, like, I'm not saying they're the face of black culture, but they're definitely people who have, let's just say, books that people would read, right? They've overcome, Lauryn Hill's, the miseducation of, like, you don't even have to, it's a ridiculous, like, we talk about painting a picture.
Yeah.
Like, so if those people can wear it, Candace is married to a white man. It's just like, how can, I don't know. It's the thing is, where I'm at right now and my walk, I think, in terms of like trying to get people to see my side of things, it's like, if you want to accept someone else's narrative and have that being your narrative, so be it. But I do believe the future is more of this, where we are able to like share our thoughts, and I think those thoughts are going to land home because like they're real. So let's play the rest of this, but that just threw me off like right away, because he uses all these trigger words that he didn't even actually feel himself. He just puts it in somebody else's, like, the black community is going to fear white supremacy, and it was just like, no, we're not. I don't know why you even thought that, but like, why would, I don't know. Let's play that again.
Let's play that again.
With him is Candace Owens,
Correct.
wearing the same shirt. Lauryn Hill's daughter is also there wearing that same shirt. You went on Instagram. I don't know exactly the timing of this, but you said, I love Ye as a person. I support free speech, but this is gaslighting black people and empowering white supremacy. Not sure if he has any friends left to tell him, but this is utterly disappointing. I'm going to exercise free speech and say nobody black has ever said that white lives don't matter. But when black people do this, it just screams the need for white validation. Not to mention adding Candace Owens to his photo is beyond reprehensible. I understand he believes in her right to free speech, but her speech is typically embedded in self-hate, a determination to promote white supremacy, and she lacks integrity. This is sad.
Right.
You paused it?
Yeah, I paused it. I saw you already going.
Am I the only one that's just like, if you listen to these words and what he's saying,
It's a lot of buzzwords.
It's just not true. It's buzzwords, and it's not. It's like the furthest. Candace Owens, her rhetoric is rooted in self-hate. That is so ridiculous to the point where it's like that. It's hard for me to explain, because I do believe. I honestly believe people are waking up and we're realizing like that is. I don't know where that comes from with Jason Lee. Like, I don't know what his goal is. I don't know if it is because he lacks awareness. I don't know if he doesn't listen to Candace Owens. I don't know if he fears free thinking or Black people actually like overcoming. Like, there's a lot of places where it can come from that in his mind, he thinks it's okay. But as someone who understands like Candace, I understand even like I was gonna say I get both sides. Like, I can say I get the left, I can say I get the right. I don't really fall under any one category. I know the right has a way more political ideas that can help society, but at this point, we've been fed a lot of things from the left through entertainment and stuff that is like, it's tough to just give this up and, go with so I get it. But here's how I'll say this. I don't think it doesn't make sense for this man to attack a Black woman. Put it that way. Like, he literally just attacked Candace Owens, and that's a Black woman. And so that in and of itself is kind of like going against what
they preach, right?
Exactly.
They always protect Black women. unless protect a Black woman unless she doesn't agree with you or you don't agree with her. That's basically
but she's
what
still a Black woman. So like, if you are listening to your own words, practice what you preach. Like, I want to go with what you say. You don't have to go with what I say. But let's just go with what you say. There's no reason why you attack this woman. I don't mind attacking ideas. That's why it's like when it comes to Ye, and I'm interested in terms of our timeline, because again, we could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. Yeah. But I like to attack ideas, not attack, to go off of the ideas that come from these people. Candace talks a lot about the family, what happened with fathers missing. I think entertainment and how that has hurt society. And I think that the Hollywood and entertainment has hurt society no matter what color you are, because I don't know if you guys, how often you come across, well, I'm sure it's just like me. The dumbing down of society is real. It's very hard to have like in-depth conversation about like things that aren't like, you're not spoon feeding this person of like, oh yeah, you stay very surface level. And then like you get into like a legit conversation, whether it's like a personal thing, like it's real life, or it's going deeper than what you are fed. It's like, wow, that was a real conversation. And it feels so refreshing.
Are people more careful of going deeper these days in the fear of also getting canceled? But I'm just asking. It's
that
just
could be true, but we end up everybody loses.
Yes, everyone loses. Yes, but that may be something, because I've noticed that as well, that a lot of times you will have shallow discussions with people or talks with people, and if you get to know them much more and you, let's say, trust them, you will open up more easier about certain thoughts you might have. I don't know. Maybe that's also part of it's like I do agree with you on the that level that people are talking a lot of surplus. Maybe that's also a deeper level to that, because in general, people know what is what is going on. They know. Deep in their heart, they know. They're just ignoring it.
I want to believe that they know. And I've said this for like the last.
You know something is off. But a lot of people know when something. Well, maybe they're tone deaf. Then maybe.
I'm telling you, it's wild. I'm telling you, it's wild. Because here's my. When it came to like 20. Let's do a little bit of a timeline. And I don't even think of myself as a Trump supporter at this point in my life, because I definitely don't know if who I'm gonna vote for, or if I'll vote at all. I don't even think I'm gonna vote, but whatever. When Trump won and they said it was Russia, and they did the investigation, and they didn't find anything, I thought at that point people were gonna say, well, the mainstream media lied to us, but they didn't. They kept kicking the can down the road. And then there was something else where it was like every year there was something that was major to them, and then it was shown off as a lie, and people weren't like, well, wait a minute, why do you keep lying? And then it is, I'm telling you, one thing after another. And so when you say people know, I honestly don't think that they know. And I think that is why it's like, that's why I get so passionate about this stuff, because I'm like, I'm losing my friends, I'm losing my family, I'm losing the people that are around me because they just don't get it. They don't know. They're getting 8 boosters. They're getting, and there's nothing, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but we need to be able to talk it through. You don't get triggered when I say, well, what is in that shot? I don't know if, again, I'm like bringing a bunch of different things in here, but it's like the reason I don't think people know is because we can't have discussions without it being triggered, people getting triggered. And then it's like, well, all right, well then we won't talk about it. And so I know that if you're not talking about it with me, then you're not going to be talking about it with somebody else, because I'm the person who actually is looking to have that in-depth conversation, no matter where you stand. I don't mind. I'm not, I'll just ask questions, or I'll tell you how I feel. I'm not telling you what you need to do, because I don't know what you need to do. I just know that there's some people that have been lying to us, that continue to lie to us, that they don't have our best interests in mind. And if we don't wake up to this, we're going to find ourselves in a reality that is not great. Let's put it that way. But we have the ability to create something that is great.
Yeah. I think before we could you move on to the next video, KaiR, I think it's not necessarily that people get triggered when you say something, but people will label you immediately. So what I experienced was, and I'm still experiencing it in discussions, people think you're either for or against, right? You're either for
binary thinking.
Yeah, so either for Trump or against Trump, for abortion or against abortion. So it's just very binary. And when you explain, let's say they don't even listen, they just hear the first 2-3 sentences, and they already put you in a box. And then they will say, oh, you're this. But no, you haven't heard what I want to say. But I think nowadays, and I think people are so afraid to not necessarily get canceled. And canceled can be, we all know we know of the big cancellations, like right, how let's cancel Trump, let's cancel Musk, let's cancel Kanye, let's cancel KaiR. But it also happens on a micro level. You get quote unquote canceled by your friends, by your family. They push you away. No, this person doesn't know what he's talking about. Why is he like that? They don't even listen. And sometimes you say something, let's say that you have an opinion, you challenge an idea or a narrative, but they put you in a box and say, no, you're wrong. And maybe a year later, when the mainstream media says the same thing, then they will say, oh, did you know this? And it seems like they will forget that you told them a year back, and they won't come and say, oh, you know what, Corey, you know what, KR, you were right. No, it's really fascinating how much impact the media has, because the media is the one driving the majority of the narratives, right? The media has, and they can just choose one day to label you as one thing, and before you know it, let's say at least half of the population will have the same opinion as the media companies. So it's crazy.
It's called programming.
It's called programming.
It's
Yeah.
called programming. Guys, I think we have to close the Kanye topic. I mean, we could have continued at least for an hour about this. We haven't watched the full video of Jason Lee, but the next part, I mean, we can transition right away to hip hop. For hip hop, I will start it off with a video by Robbie Starbuck, which is formerly a hip hop music video director, and he made a video basically in after the passing of Takeoff, which is kind of sad as well. The whole situation, if you think about it. But we're gonna share it and we're gonna comment on it and talk about hip hop after, and to see what is hip hop about these days. What is it going to, and what is the future of it? Okay. Oh, I need to, of course, press it here.
Seeing that a rapper from Migos died, I just wanted to go ahead and make a video about something I have a unique experience in. So I directed a bunch of rappers, people like Gucci Mane, Snoop Dogg, Gotti, the list goes on and on and on. Okay.
Just for context, he was running for office last cycle. So
Who was this guy?
I learned a lot,
yeah,
Really?
of
What
things.
office?
And
oh, I'll search it up while I place.
Okay.
Give me a second.
I have left the industry largely over my political beliefs, but there is something I want to impart to people to hopefully, make some sort of change happen. So I have a challenge to rappers, and I know some of you still follow me. I know a bunch of the celebrity blogs still follow me from trying to get news from music videos and things like that. So here's the truth. The truth is this: a bunch of young black male rappers keep dying. You know who's not dying? Record executives. The record executives that push for them to continue to make songs and create a culture that is obsessed with death, drugs, and sex. Period. The industry is obsessed with it, but those record executives, they're not dying because they don't push this culture on their own people, but they're encouraging you to push it on yours, and they're paying you handsomely to do it. The reality is, I know a lot of you. A lot of you are good people. You're family guys. You're not the image that you put out there to the world. Why? Why don't you be the example? Stand up. I challenge you. Be the example. Make music about the culture you want to see. Don't just get online today and talk about how, whenever a rapper makes it, his own people take him down. Don't just make those videos. Don't be sad. Don't rest in peace. None of that stuff. Be the change you want to see. Inspire it in your community. Reach out to other rappers and say, we have to stop. We're being used. You've been used for a long time. They create this paradigm to make you believe that you're so important and your celebrity status is worth so much, but in truth, you're a pawn in their game, and you always have been. The government has wanted to hold down communities of people in different ways through different methods for a very long time. Their method in the Black community has been to use entertainment to create a culture obsessed with death, drugs, sex, and money, so that they could create a false paradigm of what happiness and what success really was. And in doing so, they created a world that also made people more dependent on government, and as a result, gave themselves more power.
I'm
You wanna
just
go
I'm just gonna pause it for rights reasons for a second, and then I'm gonna
Okay.
continue. Sorry, guys.
Well, he's
So
hitting the
guys-
nail on the head. That's for sure.
Huh?
He's
Yeah.
hitting the nail right on the head.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I wanted to-
Executives that push
Continue, RJ.
I wanted to ask you guys if you noticed the painting in the background.
Which one?
So when he
Let me
speaks,
go
so he's moving, right? Just
Is it Biggie?
the red painting right there.
and they're paying you handsomely to do it.
It's a gun.
It's a
The
gun.
reality is, I know a lot.
Wow.
He's in Tennessee, so. Oh, he lost his guns, probably.
That's a good pickup.
A lot of you are good people. You're family guys.
Wait a second. I'm going to go back.
Used for a long time. You know, they create this paradigm to make you believe that you're so important, and you're rappers and say, be the change you want to see.
Yeah, so.
Inspire it in your community. Reach out to other rappers and say, we have to stop. We're being used. You've been used for a long time. You know, they create this paradigm to make you believe that you're so important and your celebrity status is worth so much, but in truth, you're a pawn in their game, and you always have been. The government has wanted to hold down communities of people in different ways through different methods for a very long time. Their method in the Black community has been to use entertainment to create a culture obsessed with death, drugs, sex, and money, so that they could create a false paradigm of what happiness and what success really was. And in doing so, they created a world that also made people more dependent on government, and as a result, gave themselves more power. The record executives that push you to do this, to go and continue to profit off the backs of your work, they're in cahoots with the elite. They're in cahoots with the government. They want you to think you're important, but in truth, you're just doing their dirty work for them. So stop. They've empowered you in ways that are real. You have an audience. You have platforms. You have the ability to make change. So go against the grain together. They're more afraid of you all together standing up and creating a new culture that's built around family, faith, freedom, doing the right thing, valuing life, than they are of anything else. So I challenge you, use your power to do the right things. If you continue to do the same thing you've done, more rappers like this are going to die. How many have to die before you change the culture? And let me tell you something else. There's a reason the record labels pay us more to do rap videos. They don't tell you that, do they? Do they tell you that they pay us more to do your videos? Because they do. They do it because they know it's more dangerous. They do it because they know it's more difficult. And they do it because, frankly, there's a lot of money laundering involved. Those labels wash a bunch of money through. We don't do it, but we know the labels are doing it 100%. Okay, they're then taking the money off the top end, and you see on your royalty check, oh, they spent $150,000 on this video. Did they? Because we didn't see $150,000. Okay, so where did the money go? And to who? Their friend's company? A lot of times that's the case. Same thing with insurance companies. They charge us more to insure your videos. And it's because they know the culture that's been created. They know that the only possibility of a music video being shot up is on a rap video. And that's the truth. So change the culture. You have the power. Your people deserve it.
He was giving some game at the end right there.
Let me ask you guys. I mean, it absolutely was, but I want to make this sort of personal. And as we talk about kind of hip hop, because I think there's more going on in the music industry than we understand. And as it pertains to money, how much they're making, how much they're losing, the connections that they have with some of these brands. People talk about like the prison, the way that like a lot of executives get an artist so that people can go to prison almost in a way, and how that's somewhat connected because it's privately owned. I mean, that's a yay line, privately owned prisons, get you or whatever. But let me back up just a little bit, and I definitely want to touch on some of the things. What were some of the artists that you guys listened to growing up, or like when you first tapped into hip hop?
So should I start?
Yeah, you start.
Okay.
I went take longer than I will.
Let's start with you then.
No,
Because
no,
then,
you go first. You go first.
okay, I started off randomly. By the way, I wasn't listening to hip hop early age. I was more like a metal rock kid.
Okay, why
Then
not
I
hip hop?
started.
Why not?
I didn't connect. First of all, I started listening to salsa and all that stuff because I grew up on in the Caribbean, so I was spoon fed that music. I can still sing some songs, and I haven't heard them in years.
Nice.
That's. But then I went to metal rock, and then I think around I started listening sporadically to hip hop. Lil Wayne was one of the first people. Then I went to Kanye. From Kanye, listened to Birdman for for a while. I'm ashamed to say that, but guys, and after
Like
that,
his albums?
his albums and his collaboration with Lil Wayne, but
Yeah.
also Rick Ross. And then suddenly, when I went to college, I got introduced to more underground stuff. Well,
Yeah.
slightly also be right before of it, I started listening to the Roots.
Okay.
It's with it's the album with the Hangman game on it. And then I started listening to underground hip hop, and then I went on really to Jedi Mind Tricks and all those types of underground. And from then on, I mainly stayed underground. I mean, I listen sometimes to Drake and all those guys, but I don't really listen to mainstream that much because, I mean, it's not really like you said. The words are not connecting. You started the show with it, and I'm gonna. It sometimes it doesn't connect, and I like flow. I like lyrics. I like it has to connect. And I'm not saying I'm only listening to conscious hip hop because
Right.
of course I will listen to a Griselda album like it's nothing. It's very negative if you listen
Yeah.
to it, but I will listen to it.
Sure.
But you have to be aware what you're listening to, and that it's not kind of become a part of you. That's how I see it. But that's
I
basically in a short way my
Mhm.
journey.
Yeah, so I started listening to hip hop when I was like 11 because before that I was listening to, let's say, soft rock. Oh, disclaimer, I'm a love song guy, so ballads, etc.
Balance.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but let's say the rappers that I was listening to were during those times. It was Ludacris. You had Ludacris, Kanye, you had Ti, you had Lil Wayne, definitely, and Eminem. Of
No,
course, you had
stay
like
away.
and afterwards, when I was 18, so those were mostly like the popular songs, right? And when I was 18, I started listening to albums, and then I started, but it was basically those same artists. You had the 808s and Heartbreaks. You had of Kanye, Theater of the Mind, of Ludacris. And after that, I transitioned more to J. Cole. I never connected with Kendrick Lamar. I must say that I never connected with. I either liked, let's say, the hip hop, the party hip hop. You have the hip hop for the parties. You have the southern hip hop, or R&B. But I was never into the really. Of course, and that's the thing. I was never into hardcore gangster. So gangster rap, of course, there are some beats you listen to, so I listen to it for the beat. But I always found the lyrics very harsh. And the funny thing is, those lyrics get inserted in songs that have nothing to do with the gang life. So they just say, for example, Fast and Furious. It was the Too Fast, Too Furious soundtrack. Ludacris had a song, and it was about cars and speeding and driving away from police. And then at one point, he mentions he gets a shot. So, and I'm like, yeah, but why would you mention it? And the song was so good, but my father wouldn't let me listen to it. As soon as they said shotgun, he was like, nope, we're not listening to this. And when you're small, you don't really realize. You think it's normal, but when you get older, you ask yourself, why would you put lyrics like that in the songs? It wasn't
Just makes
necessary.
sense.
It wasn't necessary, you know. It was just you were almost there, but it's like you have to put something violent in it. Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to, but for whatever reason, they do. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I asked that just because I think when it comes to music, I think people are a little bit more aware of this stuff than we give credit to. So you're gonna have your, like, I say that because I think a lot of album sales for gangster rap has gone down. And so I think that there's a trend that people are just
Majority,
like,
yeah.
why, you know, it's not only why are we listening to this, but how is this helping? So even though by mainstream, we're still highlighting this type of music, I think the figures and what's going on in these boardrooms, I think executives are saying, we want gangster rap to be doing more because we definitely for whatever reason, they want more violence well, as he said it, they want more violence in communities because it is more control. And we need to depend on the government and all that stuff. I understand that, but I don't think that it's hitting for obvious reasons. Because I think people are just listening to this and whether it's their parents or I remember like when I was a child listening to this, I'm like, this is not good. Now, again, I also I'll listen to it, right? Especially if it's like before a football game and it's like, you know,
You get hyped.
Knuck if you buck. Yeah, I'm ready to kill somebody. Like I fully get it. But then it's like, if you're relaxing on a Saturday, why would you listen to it?
Yeah.
And at the end, it's like, it's music, it's art, it's painting a picture. Why would that be what you want in your mind as you're just driving down the street or you're hanging with your girl or, you know, what setting other than you literally like, and I'm going to speak for myself, like for pregame music, when I need to get super hyped or I'm working out and I need to like push weight, what is the purpose of listening to like slitting throats and blah blah? And I there's a few songs that I want you to bring up. Are we able to pull up some lyrics?
Of course. Tell me.
But I think so, like in totality, I think we're headed in the direction. It's just a matter of the executives still wanting that to be what's popular, but it's like until something new surfaces. And I'm telling you, I think as podcasts, like I would say about 5 years ago, you heard a lot of people, or at least when I was like, the conversations was definitely away from what music are you listening to? It's like, what podcasts are you listening to? And people started to like listen to, and think about it. When you have your headphones on, people automatically think you're listening to music.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm not saying the majority of the time you're not. I'll speak for myself. Majority of the time, I'm not listening to music. I'm probably listening to a podcast or a YouTube video or something other than music, because as I listen to the music, it's like I'm actually listening to it and it's not resonating the same way it did when I was 16.
Are these numbers? I haven't ever connected this dot, but it's possible. Is music selling less because podcasts are becoming more and more popular?
You got to think, right? Because isn't that what they're up against? The airwaves and what, sound. So that would be my logic behind that, other than I have heard some specific stuff that, like, actually I went to a Grammy show a few years ago, and one of the things that they were saying, or like in the back room, one of the guys was basically saying that the Grammys was like the music industry was honestly like dead. And that was like my walking away impression of like, they fabricate and put on a show for the Grammys just to make it seem like this is everything
Still
that it used
alive.
to be. But all those executives there, it's not what they know. Like, hey, this is a front, and we see more and more of the top artists like not showing up, like not really caring about Grammys anymore. So even the
not caring
Grammys,
about even music,
huh?
sometimes not caring even about music,
Right?
releasing music.
Not only that, it seems as though like I know. All right, so we'll come. I'll share a few of the artists and then say my point. Rihanna, Jack Harlow.
Including?
They're going into other avenues. So they put
Other
out a song
avenues,
and they get this, and then they go and get some money from something that actually has a product that makes. They'll go and get KFC or like
Drewski. They got Drewski, yes.
Because it's not that it's not selling. It's just that is just the way to get some eyes and like this person, but it's not like a product that you. I mean,
it's basically to funnel the eyeballs towards you, and then you go to. It's like a marketing camp. You use music for the marketing, and then you make the money someplace else with whatever products you have, the merch or
and I'm telling you
shows.
It's only going to get more and more as people become more aware of what the music, what that's like, what picture they're painting. Because, and I'm like conscious of the fact that some of these artists are probably good people, and I don't think that they are extremely high IQ. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's a good.
That's a nice way. That's a nice way to. That's a nice way to say it.
Especially when they get them in their when they're young, right? And so then they get you're 16, 17, 18, maybe even 19, and they give you a bunch of money, and you just do foolish things with it. It's just like, and then so. I mean, you can understand where I'm going with it. It's like from there, you don't just all of a sudden turn around and say, okay, it's a hard thing to see, knowing that my path was very different. And I'm not saying that I'm super high IQ, but I can have a conversation with someone and say, okay, you're just not really getting what I'm saying. And so there's no point, right? You're not able to. And a part of it has probably more to do with your upbringing, certain experience you had. I don't know. But I'm not going to ask you to solve the world's problems. I think there's a certain place that you can fit. And that's why I think a lot of these artists are doing extremely well for themselves, because what else would they be doing? But let's go. I do want to, because this is going to add to this picture that we're painting of some of the lyrics. All right, so I got 4. Okay. All right. The first one is a 21 Savage song.
Name?
Slaughter Your Daughter.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Now, think about this as an artist, right? You're going into the studio and you're painting a picture. And whether you have someone in mind when you say slaughter your daughter, or you're just creating this out of thin air, no matter what, this is the way you use your imagination. Your immediate reaction says it all. But let's go through it a little bit. We don't have to go through all of it. Again, 21 Savage, if this is if this to him is his art, express yourself. I can't tell you not to express yourself. I can only tell you why I believe less and less people are listening to this. And then we're going to talk about where it's going. And I think it's a positive thing, because who is this resonating with? But let's read some of this. Okay, so my pinky ring, slaughter your daughter. That's a quarter. Slaughter your daughter. Double cut. Already, we're talking about because I do want to put it in a I want to put this in. I don't want to talk down on anybody.
Yeah.
But I also want to call the spade a spade. I gave her Molly. The bitch is geeking. She's seeing Scotty. She's dancing for me. I love her body. I slaughtered your daughter. And
it's the repetition as well. If you want something to stick, you keep repeating it.
Keep going. I'm whipping up Barbara. I fucked on Kishandra, and then I fucked Sonia, and then I fucked Tanya. I slaughtered your daughter. I don't do no marriage. I fucked her on camera. The bitch was was embarrassed. I gave her a Molly.
Is that? Give me a second. Is that a opening for a lawsuit?
Of course.
This is the first step.
If this guy ends up in court, they will use his lyrics against him. It's not. I mean, they do it.
Oh, what? They're doing it right now with YSL, right?
Yeah.
But you see, this is
crazy.
This isn't art. I mean, it's art for. I can't say it's not art.
I've never heard of this song. I'm not
There's a reason why you never heard of it, but it's on his album, and this isn't like a no name. He just did an album with Drake.
With Drake, yeah, he just got a Drake a stimulus package. That's how he called it.
That's a great way to put it, because that's exactly what it was. And
that's what it is.
I know.
Basically, what you're doing, if you anyone who gets Drake either on a song or on an album, their sales will go up. So basically, what you're basically showing me right now is that they are promoting someone and hoping the previous messages he put out can get some traction, and this is part of this previous messages he.
It hurts me to my core. It hurts me to my core. But at the same time, that's why it's like I can't listen to him. I mean, it's not that I can't listen to him. There is something. I mean, I can't listen to him, but that's not how I would word it. There's just something in me that knows, like when I hear the Drake and 21 like that featured album, like I know something else is going on. It's not because Drake thinks this is someone to truly collaborate on. I'm thinking there's something going on behind the scenes that Drake has to do, right? Because of contract. 21 Savage, I can't even. It's like Drake is.
It's such a big difference.
It's
a gap. Yeah.
So
it's like me collaborating with Kanye out of nowhere, with a shoe.
Say what?
No, it was a joke. I said it's like me collaborating with Kanye on a shoe out of nowhere.
I'm sure the gap, like you would be able to have a conversation that connects you a little bit more. I can't imagine Drake and 21. Drake was probably, I like that line. When you did this and this, I can't even imagine what that studio time was like. I don't even think it was real. And so that's what I'm saying. This industry, there's more going on behind the scenes that isn't pretty. Let's do another one. So this is, and I'm going to show a trend here, or what can be. And I don't know how to pronounce this, but is it Fivio Foreign?
Yeah. Flavio Foreign.
1 on 3. No, it's Fivio.
Fivio? One on 3?
1 on 3. It's like 1 the number, and then on 3 the number. I'm sure that it should have come up. Yeah.
Oh man.
Wow. Yeah.
It's already. Oh, this is a pretty new song.
It is a new song, and this is an artist who is like, he was just on Ye's album, and I'm gonna do a comparison, because when you work with someone like Ye, he's gonna bring out another side of you, because this type of stuff won't work. So let's read some of these lyrics here. And like in some ways you kind of already get the point, but this one is to show like some of these artists, there's definitely an opportunity for them to just paint a different picture with the same experience. And then there's some people that have had experience, like I said, 21 Savage, his life experience may not be able to paint a picture that is like bringing everybody together, some kumbaya type energy, just because he didn't go through that. He didn't read those books. He wasn't in those rooms. He didn't have people saying, man, you're a really sharp guy. Like, not to say that you need that in order to whatever, but we've all had experience where people were like, hey, you know, you're a smart.
It gives you a little bit of confidence, you know.
Definitely.
100%. As a child, right? I feel like as a child,
yeah.
that starts to make you think like, hey, I might be all right, you know?
Yeah.
But if people are talking down on you so much, you have this sense of like energy that makes you think you need to slaughter somebody's daughter. And it's, man, I'm going to get all this money and I'm, you know, F this, F that. And like, that's why I give some credence to that experience, because that's their actual experience. And I say credence as in like, I can't change a person's life in terms of the life that they had. But what we're trying to do is just expose, this is what's going on, right? So we could do it one-on-one. We could do it 1-on-3. Lil bro hop out with and a mask on his face like he's ski. That tough shit not gonna fly. We all know you not like me. Boy, you gonna run into him. And the other thing is like, RJ, you talk about like you're into ballads and stuff. When you look at this as like poetry and like art, I mean, we're talking about painting a picture. This isn't even like well done. Like Lil Wayne's stuff, when he was talking about like guns, it was like creative to the point where some of the lines you would like laugh, right?
Yeah.
You can be very creative if you talk about it. I mean, MF Doom has one of the funniest lines, but it's not really violent. It's just talking about him holding a gun, while simultaneously it's a double entendre for him holding a mic. But stuff like that, but this has nothing to do with a mic. It's just
and
you can make this in what, like 15 minutes. And so that's what I'm trying to say. Like, what is going into this art is like, what's happening? But I do believe that it's the numbers are reflecting what's going on. Like, you know, when you had an album, they would go on, the way that they would promote an album is they would do interviews. I haven't seen an artist do an interview that is like promoting their album, saying, hey, tell us, what was it like getting so-and-so in the studio? You know, the title of the album like reflects what they were going through in this period. That's what it used to be like when you were on like 106 in Park, or when I grew up when it was like, and then you would listen to that interview, and then that would either make or break you going to Best Buy to buy the album, because it was like, okay, something connected. The promo worked.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but outside of Ye, I don't know who's creating in that manner. It's like a weird thing.
What you're saying right now, if you watch interviews when they do the promo for the album, it's more about everything else except the music. How many times did you get shot? It's all about gossip. What has happened in their past, and how many times they were locked up for what they were locked up. It's not about the music anymore. You might be right on that part. That the music's definitely not the center.
I don't care who you call, because he ain't gonna come. I take a perk. I don't feel pressure. Don't kill my effort. My ex want to fuck, and I still might let her, but I'm still gonna leave. She don't feel no better. I mean, look, you get the point. I almost want to say you got the point as soon as you saw the cover, but it's just like, I want to say that something's got to change. Let's go to, all right, so Ye off the grid with Fivio, foreign. But something does have to change. And I think that they somewhat know it, but there's not enough Ye's to bring it out. but what they need to do is start listening to like, yeah, let's go to his verse here. So I'm gonna let one of you guys read this just because I mean I don't want to be the only one to talk.
You're
Yeah,
going to do it?
I can say it. Yeah, look, when I was in jail, I was low key. Shout out to the supporters that wrote me. Eat food, work out, and then go sleep. You know, I'm praying he carrying both feet.
Okay, do you already see a complete difference when you're working with Ye?
Yeah.
And it's the same experience, right? Like, I'm not saying this is a completely different person, but it's an outlook of, he's like, all right, yeah, what are we doing? Yeah, he's like, yo. And he just brings out a different picture that you paint. Keep going.
Now we got God with us. You look at me and see a God figure. And when I start vibing, I know that he with me. And I'm always catch a heart shiver.
Shiver.
Yep.
Shiver.
I know it's demons in that dark liquor. We buy a bottle and squash with you. Everybody turns into a harsh ninja, but my pocket's bigger and my heart richer. My mind smarter, my grind harder, and my car quicker. I met her in the church. She prayed for me.
Whoa! Wait! Whoa! What?
That's what I'm saying. This is so like
This
it's
is what?
Completely different.
completely different. So
Completely
I know
different.
this song, by the way, but I never. I with this song, a lot of times with Kanye, the when guys collab, I just tune out. But now I'm reading this. I didn't even think about where I met her in a church. I didn't. Yo.
But if you read further, it says, "Who let the monster loose? They call me a product of my environment. I tell them, nah, I'm what God produced." That's definitely different than what we just read. The whole context.
Totally.
Yes.
different.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy. It's honestly
Wow.
crazy. And I say that because like I want to go down. We got to go into a little bit of read some of the Ye stuff, just because like I think when it comes to Ye, he's the last verse. When it comes to Ye, no, go back. When it comes to like Ye and his like he's not one of those people that puts. I mean, he's definitely a lyricist, but he's a lyricist because he just talks about real stuff. And when you rap with him, you have to talk about real stuff. And it creates, I mean, again, I think the theme that I first started, that picture that he's painting is something worthy of exploring, deep diving, talking about, thinking about. Let's see where I want to start, just because I don't want to read everything. But all right, had to move away from people that's miserable. Don't want to link with you. I ain't finna sit with you. Ain't finna talk to you. Ain't finna get with you. Don't get me mad because I don't want to injure you. She put my paintings inside of her living room. Look at the problems and issues I'm living through. They trying to drown me. I rise to my pinnacle. Walk through the block like the neighborhood general. Drop me the location, and then that's where I send it to. I was forgetting you. Now I remember. Now I remember. Did what I want and say what I want. And I thought you was with me. Like how you get sensitive. I got this God power. That's my leverages. I got this holy water. That's my beverages. I got to stay with God. That's where the blessings is. I ain't delivering heavenly messages just for the hell of it. Look, again, it's very clear. So hip hop, I'm not saying that like there's just such a ton of hope, because Ye's albums are very much in their own category.
Yeah.
But I do believe the artist that works with Ye, like a Fivio, yes, he can then go and make a 1-on-3 because he leaves the studio and is like, fuck that, I'm gonna write something for the streets and whatever. But that experience, and then if he listens to that, whatever, it's like you don't have to just throw away your whole like who you are. That's, and even for like the 21 Savage, I don't know 21 Savage, and to be honest, what I do know of 21 Savage, I'm not a 21 Savage fan, but like I don't think you have to cancel anybody. I don't think you have to throw away anybody. I think there's hope for everybody. I am very optimistic in that, but I do want people to like listen to what these people are saying, and then I think the executives can understand why these albums aren't selling the way that they used to. They're just not. And that's for a lot of different industries. It's not just hip hop, but music has, I think we probably both will end up like seeing if there is a direct correlation with like the rise of podcasts, right? Like the Joe Rogans and these people getting $100 million Spotify deals when Spotify, you know, I'm not saying that they're known for music, but like any other music artist that has a deal like that. And so like when you talk about,
the closest one is Bad Bunny, but he's a big star. And he
but
doesn't talk
if that's
about
the
guns.
case, he has a deal like that. He has a deal.
He has I don't think it's. I don't know. It's 500, but it's a huge amount.
So
he's like right now at the top of everyone. At the top of even above Drake these days.
But therefore, it has to be competing with them, right? Yeah. You have to look at it as competition. Because Spotify is writing that check, and they're going based off of numbers, and they're going based off of X, Y, and Z, and it's a platform that delivers. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I want to say I'm hopeful, but at the same time, knowing what, because we're fighting this battle from so many different angles when it comes to mainstream media, when it comes to Hollywood, when it comes to all this stuff. It's like it's the same thing that is dumbing down society, and they are missing opportunity. They're missing opportunity. Like Fivio should not. I think the 1-on-3 was after Off the Grid, so
yeah.
You can, one way that I would have like advised him to come off of the, off the back of doing the Donda is to like reintroduce yourself. Don't go and make 1-on-3 afterwards. Say like you can
rebrand.
Rebrand. 100%, and you show us the rebrand in the art, because after that you have I do believe people underestimate Ye. Like, look, the fact that he sold out these shows, like he does have numbers that's rare. That's why I don't feel bad supporting Ye the way that I do, because it's like I'm just vocal about it, but there's a bunch of people that actually listen and buy his stuff clearly. But I don't know if they're thinking on this level of, okay, Fivio, you can then again rebrand. You can go a whole nother route where Ye does an album with you the way Drake does an album with 21 Savage. It's like, nah, you changed my life, Ye. I'm actually looking at this artistry thing a completely different way. And now we have a hip hop, the future of hip hop, on a true up and up. And I believe it's possible. I just think that they have to listen to executives like that saying, hey, there's a reason why this is happening, and it's up to you, and you have the power, so use it.
I think and we all know him, DJ Academics, has mentioned in the past that he thinks that within 3 to 5 years, gangster rap will be dead. Oh, Jesus!
Did he say
that word? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have used that word, but let's hope YouTube wasn't listening to that. But monetizing the video, but
talking about Bad Bunny as well. You mentioned Bad Bunny a while back. Bad Bunny used to make, like a couple of years back, violent songs.
Yeah.
And now he's big, but he's basically playing party songs. What they are doing, I believe, is they're still pushing an agenda, but it's like a different agenda, at least with regards to Bad Bunny. And I say that because all of his songs are party songs, talking about women, and
Mhm.
then on a live show, he was on a live show 2 months ago, and he kissed the man.
Oh my god.
And
I didn't know
it's and it's of course you do it for the shock factor you had in the past as well.
I
You
didn't
guys
know that.
remember?
Hold on. Wait. Can you not? I don't want you to repeat it, but
Yeah, okay.
he was on where?
It was a live show, dude. His shows, he sells out arenas.
Right.
This guy is very big. So he had a live show. I don't know if it was an award. If it was an
It's
award show.
it was a award show in
It was
Latin
an
America,
award
I
show.
think. Yeah.
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 And at the award show, he turned around, he kissed a girl. Then he turned to the other side and he kissed a man.
So it's
And-
clear what the agenda is, though.
Yeah, I believe it's clear what the agenda is.
I mean,
yes.
it was from the first time I saw Bad Bunny. I saw the
That
agenda.
you do?
but okay.
Zesty.
Well, anyway,
But this is where we got to
I don't know how I
understand
can
that-
put it in the.
Yeah, I know. That's like we're all getting ready to like kind of beat around the bush, right? And like pretend as if we don't know, just because we don't know if the listener would accept the fact that, hey, we know what's going on. We're treading on water, but the fact of the matter is there's an agenda. There are people that like are going to succumb to this agenda, and there are people who are saying this is a problem. There is a problem with this agenda. If you just throw a bunch of money and you push and you try to push it down, it's not okay. There's still a problem with this. So we can like try to think of how we can say what we really want to say, but the fact of the matter is there's an agenda and there's a problem, and
yeah, it's the LGBTQ agenda that they're pushing.
Yeah, that was obvious. The first time I
and
saw
so
it
you
was
don't
like,
you don't just go all the way in. You slowly just say, hey,
Yeah,
it's okay, you know.
yeah.
He didn't. You know, it was just an award. I don't even know, but I just know that I saw this taking place. I don't even know when I first spotted this agenda of like, wait a minute, something doesn't seem right, but this seems bigger than what like it was more than what I had evidence to prove. I could just tell something wasn't right. But now as when you just say that, I can spot like not even seeing it. I know exactly that image. I know exactly why they did it. Like I get it, right? You've seen them one, you see them all, but there are people that'll be like, well, what's no harm, no foul. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Now we're talking about agenda. I think we can transition right away because I think we are about 10 minutes over time with hip hop. We can transition right away to to America's future because that's also agenda. That's part of the election. We just had a election cycle, the 8th of November. Let me start the clock. And there were some very interesting results. Basically, Biden dancing on people's graves, patting himself on the back internationally right now when he's I think what the climate forum they had, he was talking about being proud that he pulled this off. Did you expect this to? People were talking about the red wave was coming up. A lot of times when I read in the media that it was good, they were talking about the red wave, but there was actually there was no red wave. Did you expect this, Corey, or was it something that you probably had foreseen? And yeah, that's my question.
I didn't expect a red wave because I knew that they wouldn't allow a true red wave to take place. I don't think that any politician has worked to gain popularity, or like at this point I'm a little removed from politics, from the idea of politics, and for reasons that you're I hope we're going to get into in terms of the leadership and the age. And I think with that, we talk about experiences. I think that it's hard to connect with these people because their experience is so different than ours. And I don't want to, I say our, I'll say mine. And so I did, it's going to take a lot for any statesman, I'm going to use that word purposefully, any statesman to bring me back in. I'm going to listen to what you're saying, and if it sounds just like everybody else, I'm going to, I don't know. I just think that more of my energy is going to be in talking about things like this, like music, like different industries, like the rise of free thought. Like, I think that is going to help deprogram and reprogram the masses, because I don't think pushing a side left or right is going to help a programmed mind who's not able to accept new ideas.
Do you think because America's politics is basically very binary, there's almost no focus or any media focus on the independent? Is it something that libertarians, and independent guys, is this something that could change if there is more focus on that as well, more ideas, different ideas? Even though you're a bit removed from it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm removed, but I still like have ideas. Like when you talk about libertarians, like I remember Gary Johnson, when was that? Is that 2016? So I think it was 2016, which he was kind of a joke, but he ran, I think, as the libertarian. But my point was that like that was the last I heard of him. So it's like you can't just surface like, oh, I'm the libertarian candidate and I'm going to run for president this year. It's like, what are you doing the rest of your life? Like, I mean, so because I don't know what's going on with that party, it's almost like they take themselves out of the equation because they're not, I don't know if they're not working hard enough or they're not thinking that like they should have their own.
They don't have enough money. Not enough money to buy the time.
Bullshit. I don't believe that to be the case. There's so many donors that you have.
Yesterday we talked about real short about the donations that were given to FTX. Yesterday we talked about FTX on the channel.
Yeah.
And we basically also took a look at the donations both Sam and his co-founder gave to they gave him both ways.
How much?
Sam was 39 million. He was the second biggest donor to the Democrats.
Yeah.
And his co-founder gave 23 to the Republicans.
So what do you mean they don't have enough money? There's so much.
I'm talking about the independents. I mean,
doesn't matter. Yes, I'm saying though, there's people throw money out there for any and everything. So if they were to actually run on something, someone's gonna say, "Hey, this is a good idea. Here's $10 million. Here's $5 million. Here's $1 million." You don't need a lot of money. What do you need? A YouTube channel going 24/7, or you don't need a lot. Like, I don't know why. I don't understand.
Got to bootstrap it,
huh?
Maybe you got to bootstrap it then.
I mean, maybe I am very ignorant to like what it does take to get the attraction. But from my understanding, like if I'm donating whatever to you, I expect you to just, I don't know. I just think that it does. I don't think it takes a lot of money. I think it takes ideas and passion and hard and you know, the grit to figure it out. And I definitely, as much as I want to say the libertarian, like they have the Libertarian Party or any third party, anything other than left and right, because those are the binary divisive things. And the fact of the matter is, if you say, hey, I don't fit in line with any one of those, people don't really understand what that means. It's like, wait, you're not in
weird, right?
You're not right or left. Yeah, it's like, well, and they'll absolutely try to, they'll ask you like, well, do you believe in abortion? Like, do you believe in blah blah? They want to figure out like, no, you're definitely one of these.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they can't fathom what that means to not be in this, to not put yourself in this two-party system. But so I mean, I don't think that it's going to take a third party. I just think it's new ideas, it's new whatever. Or like I'll just bring up the fact that these leaders are all upper 70s, low 80s, and that's just across the board when it comes to leadership in America. All of our prominent leaders are extremely old.
Well, good transition right now, because then we're gonna talk about that part.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're extremely old.
Let's go first to Trump. As you can see, he's 76. Joe Biden. Joe is 80. Yo, Nancy just announced her retirement. But guys, this is crazy.
Retirement
Nancy just
from what?
announced,
As the leader of the Democratic Party.
But she's still going to be Congresswoman, correct?
is she?
That I don't know. She
Yeah, I don't know.
resigned as the leader. I don't know if she's going to remain in Congress.
I think
She's not
she's just
gonna-
resigned as a leader.
She announced retirement as leader, thereafter, but said she will remain member of the House and will continue to be representative for San Francisco. Hey, yo, they got a
She's still
barrier.
there. How old is she?
She's 82.
I didn't expect that, I have to say.
She is 82.
I don't think people understand what that means. Like, honestly, I really don't think people understand what 82 means.
She's 82. Mitch McConnell, you might know him. Face. He's, I think, also the head of the. He's 80. Chuck Schumer, well known. Chuck is 71. I mean, these people are all over the. They should all retire now. Gary Johnson is not in here, but these are the faces we that always make the media. You know, there's a lot of old people, man. Like you said.
And there's such a disconnect with the people of this country, the people that, I don't want to just say have ideas, but the people that like make up America, and then these people that represent America. And so I don't, that's why I mean, I didn't vote in this past election. I feel great about that. I'm not saying that I'll never vote, but it's going to take something, like I said, a statesman speaking something that is like, okay, this is something that I believe in, but I know 100% these people can't speak that rhetoric because they're 81. So their future of America is very different than like.
Their future's from the ground.
They can't think about 20 years from now. It's impossible. Like that's why I think people don't really understand it. They literally can't wrap their head around 20 years down the road because they're not going to be here. And I say that with all due respect.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fact. I mean, they're 80, so I don't think they're going to be around here anymore, even in 10 years. But
you can
the
argue
chances.
you can argue that Biden isn't around here as we speak. This guy, I don't think sometimes it seems like he doesn't know he's alive, man.
He still thinks it's 2014 or something like that, man.
There are times it's a weird feeling, right? Because like there are times where it's hilarious, and then there are times where you don't understand how did we get here. Like he literally, like, I mean, he's not only do we not understand how we got here. One, I'd be thinking like, who voted for him, and then I know people that actually voted for him, and I'm like, what went through your mind? And do you like you see these like whatever you want to call it of these videos of him either speaking or just like shaking imaginary people's hands, and it's like
it's elder abuse.
I don't know what reality we're in where this is the leader. This is the guy that we're all like getting a message from. I mean, he hasn't done a State of the Union. I don't think he did one, right?
Did he do?
But he.
I don't think.
That's a good question. Hey, yo,
I swear to God, the first time I'm thinking about it, I don't think he's done one, and I don't even know how we got. How did we just let this go?
But I think in his case, the reason it was pretty. I think in the last election,
he did one.
He did do one?
Yeah, he did one. He did.
Okay, maybe I just didn't tune in.
I believe a lot of people didn't.
You're probably not the only one. Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Right.
I believe that a lot of people didn't vote for Biden. They voted against Trump,
right?
Because that was a narrative. So that's the binary. That's the binary aspect again, right? You're either for or against. It's never. So it's not like, hey, in this particular time, it's better for me to choose this type of president instead of that type of president. But no, it was just you were either for Trump or against Trump, and that was basically that's how people. That's the mindset that people had going in the what was it, 2021 election,
2020 and the 2020 and the 2016, and this is the beginning of me even hearing about this notion. I mean, I get it, and I think that a lot of people thought of this or thought like this beforehand, but they would just say the lesser of two evils, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't actually believe or support the person you're voting for, don't even vote. Like, there's no point in like saying, "Oh, I want this." If you don't, it doesn't make sense to do the lesser of two evils if you don't like what you're voting for.
Well, you can argue that they didn't believe in Trump, but they didn't believe. They believed that he wasn't good. So it was a negative. It's not like we're gonna vote for him because he's good. We're not gonna vote for him because he's bad. So they did.
That logic is don't vote for him. Yeah. So don't vote.
Well, some people think otherwise. You
can't put a check mark in someone's name that you also don't believe in, because then it's like, okay, if you voted for this guy, who we have now, and there are some people that actually do believe that Joe is sharp and doing a good job. I kid you not. I have to.
That sounds crazy to me, Corey. I'll be honest, but that sounds crazy to me. I don't know. Doing a good job is arbitrary, but sharp. That's a different level.
Sharp. I'm telling you that sharp. Because
is this the same?
I don't even know if I want to.
Are they watching the same video I'm watching? Him walking the. In
wrong direction.
The wrong direction of stage. Him shaking. Well, by the way, you said that shaking imaginary hands. You're right. Now I remember that one as well. That's not sharp. There's no way you can say someone is sharp with that one.
Do you recall when he
oh
you called for the lady that was already dead? Do you remember that one?
Oh, that was crazy. But okay,
where are you, Nancy? Was it Nancy? I forgot.
I don't know, but that was crazy. But then he also had the speech. He also had the speech with. He said, "Well, this is something Trump might also have done," but he said 3 words. Was it 3 words?
2 words.
Yeah.
Made in America.
Made in America. Oh, 2 words. 2 words. Yeah. made in
right.
America. I'm like, dude, what the heck? Can't even count to 3 anymore.
Yeah, but other people have done it. Charles Barkley has also done something like that.
Well, that's
I
another
got
person
two.
that I don't.
But,
I got-
but I'm saying Charles is also fully. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's
Don't
what-
disrespect Charles.
No,
Why
no,
would
I
we?
got
He's
two
the-
words for you.
Charles Barkley is not.
ESPN.
He's one of those guys that is like, he's paid for. He's bought. He's not
Yeah,
working. He's not working out of his own, like, his right mind. But the reason I want to, because I have to get good at this, and I say this because of my life. People do believe that Joe is sharp. And when that happens, like when that comes out in real life, or like, I don't say, well, I don't laugh at that. I let that person, I don't even know. It's hard for me to explain. I just had this experience and it was like, obviously in my mind, I'm like, how can you even think this? But it's also majority of those people thinking that they're a little older as well. I don't know. It's tough. I'm in an interesting situation when it comes to the political side, that I have my perspective on what it means to be sharp. There are people that fit and that don't fit, but I have to give you your ability to define sharp and then put the appropriate people in that category.
Yeah.
And if you're okay with those people representing you and your definition of sharp, so be it.
Yep. Talking about Sharp and also Trump and Biden. Biden announced his campaign, his start of his campaign for 2024. He's back in the race.
He did.
Biden, he did, yeah, last week, I think, after the 8th November debacle. Well, for him it was a debacle because I think majority of his the people he backed were on the losing side. But he announced he's back in the race, and Biden also kind of said he might want to run. Well, he wants to run. I don't know if everyone in the Democrats wants him to run, because he might say some crazy during that campaign. You have guys like Ron DeSantis, who's from Florida.
Yep.
I think he's a Florida governor who's trying to get in the race as well. Well, he's not in the race. Let me rephrase that. People are saying that he might be one of the candidates who will run. You have got people like Ted Cruz. I don't know if Ted is the least likable guy I've ever seen running for anything. I don't know if he has a chance, but people are saying him. Tim Scott, Mike Pence as well. There's not a lot of likable guys. And if you look at the other side, Democrats, you have AOC. She's definitely not gonna run because I don't know. It's not within. I don't think. I think, but maybe it's me. I look at AOC as like the female version of Bernie Sanders, in a sense, as in they will talk a lot, but they will never do what they talk about.
Do anything.
Well, like they don't do anything. Yeah. You have Gavin Newsom who might run, Kamala, and Biden. I think I mean, if you think about it, Kamala lost her during the last time she ran for candidate to become the president. Does she? I don't think she stands a chance. It's looking really weird. If you look towards the 2024, I think Ron has the only one that has like a. I have no idea who will even have a chance, because I don't think Trump has a chance. Biden doesn't have a chance.
So my take on this, I am not going to. I'm going to legitimately, and this is because I know how divisive Trump's name currently is, even though, you know, Elon's bringing him back into Twitter, and there's things that are hopefully opening the door to allowing people to like be themselves. Like this is an era of not so much that it's like free speech. It's just, hey, look, rather than you just spending the rest of your life triggered by this, if you don't like him, unfollow him. Yeah. You don't have to, like, there's certain ways that you can
turn it off.
Like it's not like he's not even the president anymore. So like, let this man be, you know, be whatever.
The old angry man. Let him be the old angry man. For example, if that's what you want him to be.
If that's my thing is, I have no idea who I will vote for. I am going to give Kamala Harris, Ted Cruz, Trump, AOC the same ear. Like, what is your idea? What is your vision for America? I will listen and I will evaluate it based off of what I hear. Now, I have an idea of what is going to happen to some of these people because we know the industry is backed by donors, and that has a lot to do with what you can do and say. And whatever. But at this point, I don't even want to like jump ahead of what they're going to say. Because I want everybody to do kind of what I'm doing, right? Like I want everybody to just like, hey, let's come to the table clean.
Who has the best ideas?
100%, and let's just listen to it.
What would be those ideas? So those leading topics, then would you say that people might connect with in 2024?
I do believe that they're going to be new. I don't think we can do the same stuff. I mean, I don't think we can just say immigration reform. I feel as though it's going to happen
for 10 years, 20
That's
years.
What I'm saying. Aren't we like tired of, all right, should we build a wall? Should we do that? Like, it's just like, look, at this point, give everybody, like, let everybody come. That's fine. Clearly we can, because we tried to do the wall. They didn't want the wall. I don't know if we wasted money. Maybe the wall is up. I honestly have no idea, but like that isn't a make or break for me at this point. I'm not saying that it won't be a topic, but I'll listen to that. And I just want to be, I don't know. It's like, I want to be genuine and honest with myself, but I don't want to be as divisive as things have been, because that doesn't help. That's how we end up getting people voting for someone else just in spite of, and they don't even care about that just because they're so triggered by it. So it's like, if you have a clear, level-headed person saying, well, let's just listen to everybody. They're like, oh, that's a good idea.
Who would have thought?
Right.
Yeah, who would have thought? Hey, before we continue, guys, thank you everyone that's tuning in. We really appreciate your support. Remember to like the video, subscribe to our channel. We also put Coree's channel in the description box, so please go to his channel as well and subscribe to his channel if you haven't done so already. Remember to check us out on social media as well, Facebook and Instagram at Double Thought Show. And as always, guys, we really appreciate your support. Please feel free to comment as well. We're curious to know what you think about the topics we are talking about today. The purpose of Double Thought Show is to tackle different topics in an objective way, and to do it as objective as possible. It's important to have various point of views, because it's only by dialogue that we can all better understand topics, themes, and concepts. Guys, we really appreciate all your support. Thank you again.
So with that being said, I think we reached the end, the conclusion. How should we proceed? What is the future for hip hop, America? They are all interconnected. One thing I've noticed is that when we were talking, even with Kanye and with hip hop, we were saying things about the future of America and also the other way around. You can see there is you cannot separate them from each other. It's hard to separate. Let's put it that way. You can, but very hard. What is our conclusion based on what we talked about today? What is the future message?
Mine is, and it has to do with you guys' show. As I was talking about, the reason I post things on my channel, it's the era of understanding that like your voice matters, and the future of America. I think more people are going to be speaking out. The future of, I mean, I don't want to just cover everything once again, but hip hop and what Ye's vision is, it is kind of like that soapbox like idea of getting up and talking about things you're passionate about, whatever that is, and those that you connect with, that it resonates with, that whatever, like your voice matters. So speak your truth. And it doesn't fall on deaf ears, because there's hundreds of millions of people in America. There's billions of people on this planet. You don't know who might be listening. And it might take one person to have that chain effect of there being extreme, like really positive ripples in understanding and coming together, and it really just takes one person for you to connect with. So, and I think throughout history, which is why hip hop does work, it's oral tradition, it's storytelling, it's speaking your truth. Going back to 21 Savage, that slaughter your daughter. If that is his truth, then that is his truth, right? And if there's someone in mind and he had a beef and he put it into word, whatever, then so be it. But if it's not, then it's troubling that is. But what I want to share more of is guys like us sharing our truth and understanding that someone, whether they be 8 years old or 28 years old, can connect to it and appreciate it. And so to you guys, I'm encouraging you to continue to do what you're doing and what you're building. But anyone listening, speak your truth. Your voice really, really does matter as we break free from mainstream thinking and mainstream programming, and just say, hey, this is how I really feel. Like I can feel like this for a moment just to shake hands with so-and-so, but like, this is how I really feel, and my experience matters and my voice matters. And those types of moments, I think you'll come to find, are like extremely fulfilling when you could just be yourself, accept yourself as you are, and be who you truly are. So I do believe that is the future of America and the world at large. So that's how I think everything is kind of intertwined.
Here.
Clear. I could have put it better in words. I mean, perfect. Let's see. We shared the link. Maybe people want to call in. No one wants to call in. Maybe.
I do think that this is something that, I don't have the platform to do what you're doing, but I would love to do this more often, and I'll promote it a little bit on my channels in better ways. Obviously, this is something we could talk off air, but in real time, I think it's definitely a first step in a build that, as you've seen, KaiR, like when it comes to certain times where, just like the Periscope days, there would be some days where I would have a bunch of people talking. There's other days where like no one would be listening, but at the same time, it's like that same type of energy. This is me being myself. And you never know, kind of what the future holds. So, we talk about what's going to happen in 2024. Well, between now and then, we almost have a responsibility to prep the minds of the people to be able to accept a legitimate 2024 run, right? Or even other things in between. Like, I feel as though I have a responsibility to kind of, in some ways, defend Ye's name, simply because there's so many people that are just trying to shut down his vision. And it's like, I know that this is something that could help society, so I feel responsible. So, you know, as a free thinker, and I know you guys kind of understand a little bit more of like what we are capable of doing if we come together, there's a responsibility that comes with that. And I could tell that you guys had it from just the initial reaction to like the hip hop stuff. It's like there's something not right about that, and those that know. So let's build on that, and we'll see where it actually goes. You know?
Yeah, I agree. So to me, this is as you know, this is the first collab we have here on the Double Thought Show, KR and I, and we're. I think I can speak for KR as well that we're really happy. We're really grateful that you first of all made time to come over to our channel, and we truly appreciate the information, your point of view, and we look forward to doing this more often. I think I mean, this is the channel is called Double Thought Show. We stimulate thinking. So everyone that's a thinker, especially the free thinker, is always welcome here at our channel.
21. If you're a thinker, we are also. He can come up as well. We need,
and he may be able to defend it. There could be a silver lining in it.
That's the idea of Double Thought Show.
Love it.
You just come here, you share your ideas, and maybe he has great ideas. You have the floor. 21. Just send the DMs, Instagram.
Love it. Good. We signing off, guys?
Yes. Well, we want to thank you all the callers. Oh, well, not the callers, the people who are viewing the show.
Oh, okay. Just before you close, just one thing I wanted to mention, and then we had some previous clips in the last couple of weeks about Kanye and about KaiR. We had it in our previous live shows and on our channel. So we clipped those live shows into smaller clips, and the reaction we received on let's say how people viewed Kanye, there were people who did not agree with what Kanye said and what he did. Same goes for KaiR, but there were a lot of people who did agree. So and I think that's why you need these open dialogues to avoid ending up in an echo chamber.
Right.
Yeah, KR, you have the floor.
Yeah, so I want to thank all the viewers who are watching the live show, also the rebroadcast. Whatever thoughts you have, please let us know in the comments. I think this was a great show, great interchanging of ideas.
Definitely.
You might have caught lightning in the bottle. We might have caught lightning in the bottle for a second right there. If you have caught it, you've seen us caught it, share it with your friends, people that are like-minded. I think this is good for them also to jump in and share their ideas. And remember, guys, to rate the show by pressing the like button, follow us on the socials, and subscribe on the YouTube. With that being said, I want to thank you and have a nice Sunday. Peace.
Yes, peace.